Do some birthdays here in a second, and there's a birthday of a good friend of mine who I have not spoken to in the last few months, and wanted to mention there's always a plethora of different shows. When you say what's your favorite concert, it's really difficult to dumb it down to one particular show, but at the same time, when you take who you're with, the atmosphere, the band itself, and maybe some things in and around it can make shows the best shows they've ever been. And I would say, and I've seen a lot of great shows. I remember my first concert. I remember a Sammy Hagar concert I saw in high school, which was just unbelievable. It's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. But I'd have to say, and it's not always the performer. It's not always, sometimes, the performer is the reason why it's the best concert, but I've also gone to see people that I really wanted to see, and the show wasn't that good, and maybe had a flat tire in the way, and it just wasn't a great, atmosphere. But I guess it's been 10 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, and one Taylor Hicks reached out to me, and he was playing Las Vegas Casino, and invited me to come out, and I said, we're out there with my dad, my brother, and it was just one of those perfect evenings. I was with my dad, I was with my brother, I was with another one of our friends, and Taylor did the whole backstage thing, and it was when he was first there. It was his first year in Las Vegas. He did like a 2-hour show, and you could tell that every show was different, and it was fantastic. He recognized the place was full. He recognized my entire family while we were there, and it was just probably one of the best. And it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. He had a full band. It was incredible. Happy birthday to Taylor Hicks, who turns 45 today. Turns 45, so he's got a lot left in the tank.
I know people say this, but his gray hair, his premature gray hair, I always think of him as not old.
Yeah.
But whatever you say, I would have thought he was going to be older.
Yeah. He's 45, and again, one of the best shows that I've seen. He put it all behind it. He was playing for the crowd. It was unbelievable. Now, I went back and saw him the next year. I think he was playing at New York, and he was like, it's more of a Vegas-style show. It was like a hour long, and, the songs. He did a Stevie Wonder tune to kick off In the City. That was like a 7-minute version of the song that was just like something I'll never forget. It was great. And I think he even took some requests.
Do you think,
it was great.
Let's just analyze just a little bit.
And I've seen him down at the Lyric, too.
You know him.
Yep.
He recognized your family.
Uh-huh.
He's a great performer. So was it one of the best shows you've seen just because of all that put together? It was a great experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It had everything. I had the perfect buzz on. I was there with we were in Vegas.
Yeah.
I was with my dad.
Okay.
I had a winning day that day.
Yeah, that's
and
what.
then I'm seeing Taylor Hicks, and then afterwards we went out and had a party and had dinner. It was just a great
that's wonderful.
experience.
Wonderful.
My dad was like, and I always try to do everything I possibly could do to make sure my dad was always taken care of and had a great time.
Yep.
And when he came down to go to Talladega, we got a limo. I wanted to make sure that, because my dad worked his ass off for his family, and I wanted to make sure that he was always taken care of. I always had a pillow under his feet. I made sure he was as comfortable as he possibly could be. And that made me feel really good that one of my friends saw that and did everything he could to make my dad Dick just feel really comfortable. My brother had a great time. The only thing is I was kind of bouncing up my seat, and my chair kept going back into my dad's seat, and he kept getting pissed off at me because I kept bumping his knees. And I think my dad actually, and at that time he was like in his 70s, was up dancing. We just had a hell of a good time. It was a great concert. I'll never forget it. It was a great memory. So happy birthday to Taylor Hicks today. Turns 45 today. Vladimir Putin.
80.
Is Vladimir Putin objectified?
You mean because of the horse thing?
He's a good-looking dude.
No, he's not.
Well, he wants to be objectified.
You're right. He's a try too hard guy.
He's 69. He's young.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a bad man. He's a bad mofo. Dude, if you ever seen any stories about Vladimir Putin?
Oh, yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, it's interesting because of all the heads of state.
Wow.
You sort of line up all the heads of state.
Yeah.
And I don't know everybody's story, so I'm sure there is. But yeah, he's done some badass things that are bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something about Joe Biden. This is totally not political, nothing. He's the lowest ratings he's ever had, and he's falling asleep and all stuff. The guy's a snappy dresser.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you why. I watched the other day. I was just catching something. He's how old or is he? 70 something, late 70s. He's got the he wears the tailored suits, the tighter fit, and he's got the pocket thing.
I think he looks good.
He doesn't have a tie on all the time.
I think he looks good at too because he is so old.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because you usually don't see 78-year-olds wearing snappy suits like that. Yeah.
He doesn't look
looks good.
And
his wife dresses to the nines too.
They're like a great. You know what he kind of looks like? What is it? John Forsythe?
A little bit, yeah.
Right. There's the Dallas.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, was it Dallas? No. What's the other show?
Dynasty. Speaking of Taylor Hicks, Simon Cowell has a birthday today. I didn't realize they shared the same birthday.
Is he 60?
62.
Yeah.
Toni Braxton. Speaking of Las Vegas, she has a show out in Vegas. I think she still has a show out in Vegas.
Crush on her.
Everybody did.
Unchained
Dude, I saw her in
oh.
she used to do she did a concert and she put a bed up in the middle of the stage, and then she'd invite someone from the audience to get in bed, and she'd sing to this dude, and she would basically just undress him while he was in. And man, there was
a tasteful, like
not really.
Well,
I mean, it
wasn't raunchy.
If you're the jealous type, you didn't like your boyfriend.
No.
And the show I saw, and I thought it was an act, but it wasn't. The wife got pissed. She went up on stage and pulled him out of the bed while she was singing. Like, it's Tony flipping Braxton.
You see him? It was like, stop.
And I was at Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
What happened there? What kind of?
This is my Tony.
Nastiness?
Yeah, this is my Tony Braxton moment. Well, nastiness for me. There was a Tony Braxton moment. There's a woman who plays violin. Mm-hmm. She's got long black hair. I think she's Greek. Oh.
Yeah.
And she plays this violin like she is like killing it. And so there's a point in time where she goes out in the audience, and I was sitting down, and I was like in the second section on the floor, and she came up and put her boot up on my leg.
Ooh, while she was playing the violin.
While she was playing, and she's just getting on it, and I'm just like, and the string is in my face, slap is like a pair of panties, like a garter belt, slapped me in the face. I was like, just hit me with the bow. It was great. And she was looking down. I mean, she's got the big nose like me, and I'm like, we'd have beautiful babies. I was going to make love to her right there. Trans-Siberian sex, like, and my wife's sitting next to me, and of course she's looking at me like I'm a dork. And I was like, the rest of the night, every guy in our group, we went with like 3 couples. They were like, dude, I'm like, I know, right? And she's like, whatever. And I'm like,
what a bizarre sort of lap dance.
Let me enjoy my moment.
But what a bizarre.
It was like when I was at Jay Barker and Sarah Evans' wedding.
Yes.
And Sheryl Crow was there.
Yeah, well, that's
and I'm with my wife, not now my ex.
That's
different. And she walks up and she says, "Would you like to dance?"
Why did she say that? By the way, I think that was an interesting. No, come on. Right.
Well, first of all, she's kind of a tall drink of water. And the song wasn't a fast song, but it wasn't a slow song. And I looked over at my wife, and she's like, sure.
Yeah. No, I'm just
like, let me enjoy my moment.
That's all I'm saying.
I know I'm full of crap once in a while.
You've told that story before, but I'm trying to figure out.
But then a slow song came on.
Oh.
And she just kind of took my hand, and it was kind of like prom. You know, you get them out there for the fast song, so you can slow dance with them, and then we slow danced.
Oh.
And it was Sheryl Crow's, and it was nice. It was nice.
I don't understand why she asked you if you're sitting with your wife.
I don't know if she knew I was with my wife.
Okay.
Because my wife was a little separated.
Okay.
At that point, we were going through the point in our relationship where we weren't really holding hands anymore. Her loss. I'm dancing with Sheryl Crow.
As long as I'm not holding her hand.
I'm dancing with Sheryl Crow.
Do you think Jay paid her off?
No, I thought I asked him. I said, did someone say to Sheryl, ask me to dance to see what I do? And he goes, no, she just asked you to dance. And I said, seriously? He goes, yeah. And I was like, all right, rocking.
Yep.
Next thing you
know. By the way,
I'm,
Al says hello. He texted me the other day.
He texted me yesterday too.
Yeah. Well, no, you know why?
We're going out to have lunch next
Good,
week.
because he texted me and he said, ask how Bone's doing. And I said, why don't you ask him yourself? You got his number.
Exactly right.
Yeah, come on, Al.
I've been thinking about him a lot. Aldo Greco, who
Yes.
I used to do the show with, Grandpa, and I was watching the Titans, who lost this past weekend. I was thinking about him, and then Tucker, the kicker for Baltimore, hit a 66-yard field goal, and I was thinking that'd be kind of fun.
Al could do that.
Yeah. So we're going to go have some lunch next week. Maybe I'll Facebook Live our lunch. Anyway, this violinist, those kind of things, for guys are just like things we never forget because we're never going to be there. And I thought, this is super cool. But when she put her boot up, it actually kind of hurt. It was kind of grinding into my knee.
And you liked it.
And I loved it. I had a red mark that I didn't wash for like a week. But her boot stuck into my leg. And then that little strap, it was like a bra strap on the back of her bow. It just kept smacking me in the face as she's doing it. And she was like right here. And I was like, oh.
I love
and
that.
The lights were flashing. There was fire, and it was Christmas.
That's
it was Christmas time, and I was like, "I will kill you right now." I was like, "I will."
Now that's an interesting thing for a Catholic guy.
So I'd much rather have like a hot violinist hit me with her strap and put a boot in my leg than go up on bed with Tony Braxton
during Christmas time. That's sacrilege, isn't it?
No, it was great. Oh, I get fired up just thinking about it. It turns me on. I may have to run to the bathroom with it.
Oh, I do a commercial.
For about 30 seconds. John Mellencamp turned 70 today, too. John Mellencamp, one of those dudes, I think he's kind of a nice-looking guy. He's not. Billy Joel was one of those guys that, quite frankly, if you saw him on the street, you would look at him and go, what a good-looking guy. If he was just wearing, like, casual clothes. Now, sometimes clothes will make the guy. I've seen guys that look kind of creepy or campy, and they're wearing really nice clothes. I'm thinking he must be someone important.
Right.
John Mellencamp never really had the look, but man, he has been dated and married to like every supermodel in the world. It
is interesting, but you said he's a rocker, right?
He is a rocker.
But that's what it is.
And Billy Joel was a rocker.
He's short. Isn't he like 5'4"?
I'm not sure. I remember.
Yeah, but Billy Joel, again, it's that same thing. It's athletes. Billy Joel was not an incredibly attractive guy, or he's not, but his music, he could play a piano and sing a love song.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. If you don't have the looks, but you got that.
Oh yeah,
that makes up for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we know that if you walk into a bar with a guitar case, it could be empty. You're getting phone numbers. Women love dudes in bands. I don't care what women you are. I don't care who you are, what you do for a living. You could be Ashley Gann. If you see a guy in a band, you're on it. Women love rockers.
Although, you know what? I would say this. Would you say this? Let me ask you this. Because I think this is an interesting point. In general, yes. But there's some pretty slimy looking rockers. Like maybe they're not the lead singer.
Sure.
But don't you think, there's some guys in bands that it doesn't matter if you're in the band or not. You're just not. You're not. You know
if you're like the guitar player, if you're the bass player for Korn, I don't know if you're going to be getting Ashley Gann.
We should ask Ashley.
But if you got it together and you've gotten some records under your belt and you can really play.
Yep.
I'm not saying like the keyboardist for Iron Maiden's getting laid every night, although he probably is. Yep. He's probably not getting any woman he wants. But John Mellencamp, the women he's been associated with, wow. Today is Bring Your Bible to School Day. Can we do that? Oh, we allowed it. We can do that here, right?
Here. Well, you can. Hang on. I didn't even know that. You get me all.
Can you even bring a Bible into school?
You can bring anything into school. Not anything. You can bring.
You just can't get it out.
You can't have. Well, here you can, but in other places, like where I grew up, you can't have group prayer during school. But you could have your Bible with you.
You could do Bible study during recess, could you not?
During recess, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Because it's the whole meet at the flagpole thing.
Yeah, right?
I shouldn't look. I should be. I'm sorry.
You should
this
know
is my LA. This is my LA. Very different separation.
What did you do at the flagpole?
No, we didn't have that. Because it's in public school with separation of church and state, and we didn't have Bible study.
Separation of church and state does not mean anything about.
It's been
misconstrued for a long period of time what the meaning of church and state is. It doesn't mean you can't
pray in school.
It's much deeper than that. And I don't know the Constitution as well as I probably should, but it doesn't mean you can't have religious beliefs and portray them in a school. It just means that the school can't stand behind that religious belief. Right. That's the separation of church. People think that you can't have any religion in school, or you're not allowed to talk about being Catholic or Baptist.
No, but as a teacher, you can't teach
No.
your views.
Yes.
Unless it's a comparative.
It doesn't mean you
religion.
can't take a Bible to school.
No, I think. Listen, take a look. I first of all, if you could take the Old Testament, then the Jews could go. Bring a Torah to school. That'd be a little cumbersome. Could you see all the Jews we could walk in with giant Torahs? Although we have mini Torahs.
Yeah.
My kids have these little. They're like that big.
Yeah.
They're real Torahs because the big Torahs are heavy.
I know.
Whoa, dude, have you ever been? So one of the things you gotta be careful when your kid has a bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
If you've never like held a Torah, the rabbi's like, now, okay, this is gonna be a little heavy.
It's like 60 pounds.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of and it's old, and there's all kinds of jewel thing. And so I remember when he handed it to me, I work out.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
He handed it to me, and I was like, and you have to hold it this way while they put all the stuff on.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy, I'm gonna drop the Torah.
Yeah.
You don't drop the Torah. I watched my rabbi drop the Torah once. He dropped the Torah, and I swear to God, every
Don't swear to God,
Jew in temple who's yapping and we're talking, it was, and the rabbi, he's great. He's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
He's like, it's
It
like
happens.
nothing terrible is gonna happen.
Today is the National LED Light Day.
We got
the old LED lights illuminated the world in a different way, did it not?
Yes.
First of all, it saves a lot of power.
Yep.
They're super bright and they last forever.
Well, and now they do every kind. Like you can have the non.
By the way, the Christmas light thing, let's get into the Christmas light thing because it won't be too long before we start putting up lights. LED lights are great, but the whole idea of getting LED lights, because now you can get like a string of like regular lights for like 99 cents.
Right.
And then a string of LED lights are like $10.99. And you're like, okay, I'll make the investment now because they're supposed to last for like 10 years. Seriously, 10 years. They don't. They don't last for 10 years.
Right.
I know. It's a racket.
I know.
Every year I'm putting up LED lights and half of them go out. And I'm like, how is this even possible? And I'm pretty good with my lights.
Yeah.
But like the ones hanging above my sink in the kitchen have been on for like 17 years. I have never turned them off. The lights have been on for 17. Seriously, since I moved to this house 16 years ago.
Why don't you turn them off?
I don't have to. I'm almost afraid to turn it off because I think if I turn it off, they ain't going to come back on again.
Yeah. I wonder if that, yeah.
The lights in here are LEDs. Today is National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day.
Take it or leave it.
Pretty good.
It's good. I mean, it's not my first go-to, but I'm not going to buy it, but I'm going to eat
I did some pretzels and some Nutella yesterday as a little
That's
snack.
good, yeah.
Today is National Depression Screening Day.
Oh, that's right.
Let me ask you this.
I forgot about
Don't go too deep because I
won't.
don't want to get depressed. But when you do depression screening, who would be a candidate for depression screening? It's not something like if you're feeling good, you don't get. It's not a cancer screening because you don't know if you have cancer when you go to get screened. So the word screening to me is very interesting here.
Yeah.
Because if you think you have depression, then that's probably a good time to go. Or I think I got a spot on my face or whatever. I'll go get screened. But I mean, you're not screening everybody for depression because if you don't feel depressed, then you probably don't have depression.
Well,
so
part of it is there's definitely people who don't feel depressed, and they are depressed. And what I mean by that is, so we typically think of depression, we think you feel sad, right? And so you're right. You're like, well, I don't need to get screened. I don't feel sad.
Yeah.
But there are symptoms of depression, which are not sadness. So you can feel, if you feel irritable or cranky a lot, irritable, cranky, and then it plus low energy, right? Having a hard time sleeping. Anxiety, concentration problems. Having a hard time getting enthusiastic about things.
But in most cases, those things make you sad, right?
No, not always. And that's
if I'm irritable and I can't get in.
Particularly in men, that's part of the reasoning of the screening. So part of the screening is, part of the reason we do screening is there are people walking around thinking, oh, their family's like, you're just bummed out, you're fine.
Yep.
Right? And one of the things we know is that if you're depressed, you're not fine. You're not going to just snap yourself out of it. So the part of the reason we have depression screening is because depression is a bunch of different symptoms. But particularly in men, there's a lot of men who present, the way their depression presents is irritable and cranky, and they'll write it off as, well, of course I'm irritable and cranky. Look at all this crap I got to deal with at work.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, they're not sleeping that well. And on top of it, they're not really motivated. They don't want to do anything. So think about it. You got a cranky husband who is not sleeping well and doesn't really want to do anything, right? And on the one hand, you're like, oh, that's just the way he is. On the other hand, a lot of times we find out by doing that screening, you may, in fact, you mean all the you're depressed. Yeah. And we typically, here's an antidepressant. And over a course of time, 2-6 weeks, I feel better. I'm good. So, that's why we do depression screening. Also, too, we do it because there are parents who are concerned about their kids. They've got all these symptoms. And
there's a perception that once you get on antidepressants that you'll be on them forever. True or
not? Some people are and some people aren't.
How do you know when it's time to get off?
You can do so. What they'll do is they'll put you on. Let's say you're clinically depressed, clearly clinically depressed. You go into therapy and they put you on an antidepressant medication, which is they're incredibly effective.
And by the way, therapy and medication need to go hand in hand, correctly?
Ideally, yes. They are. Therapy plus medication is better than therapy alone or medication alone.
Gotcha.
Although some people aren't. One thing about the antidepressants, and I think people think this, they're not happy pills. It's not like you're depressed, you take a pill and now you're great. Really what the antidepressants do is a couple things. They raise your energy level because if you're depressed, you just got nothing. It's not just that you're tired, you don't want to get up and get out of bed. So they raise that. The other thing they do is, particularly if you're depressed, you have a lot of these negative thoughts that are just cycling and cycling. They lower that. Okay, so it's not a happy pill. But what they'll do is they'll typically put you on the medication for let's say 6 months. And you go into therapy and it's like, again, like diabetes. You're like, okay, I'm doing great. I'm going to therapy. I don't have these symptoms. And then what we'll do is we'll start weaning you off the medication.
If you have a chemical imbalance, then where does therapy help?
Oh, because one of the things that therapy does is therapy itself can rewire the way your brain works. So we know that by you consciously learning how to think about the way you interpret situations and information coming in, your brain chemistry changes. So absolutely. Some people are on medication for the rest of their life. But we've done enough studies that it's like, I don't know, it's like a hypertension medication.
Yeah.
So people freak out about going on meds. And I'll just say this, and I'm a psychologist, so I'm not writing the scripts for the meds. The medications are, it's like saying, well, I don't want to be on a high blood pressure medication. Okay, well, we do the same thing. We'll go, okay, why don't you change your diet, lower your stress, see how you're going. Okay, your blood pressure's still high. Take this medication.
Yeah.
So
today's also World Cotton Day. It's funny because I saw a story this morning that they're saying that cotton prices are going to be going through the roof. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because of trucking or whether it's...
Love me a good cotton shirt.
Yeah. It's wild because we went to the Old Baker Farm for the pumpkin thing last weekend.
Yeah, I've been there.
And there's all these cotton fields.
Yep.
And my kids didn't know what they were. Yeah. To see a child see cotton for the first time is like bizarre. It's like, go out there and pick some cotton. And my daughter's is like, it's like the stuff in the aspirin bottle. I was like, yeah, exactly. It's what that is. It's cotton. And she's like, and I said, that's what your clothes are made out of. And she's like, totally like, she's like, really?
You know your thing with a taco?
And then when I did homework with her last night, we learned all about the cotton gin, which of course was made and created in Montgomery, Alabama.
Did you get the slavery part?
No, it was Indians. It was the Indian Removal Act under President Jackson.
I have very
Quincy Adams.
You said you didn't see a taco till you were 40 or 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd never seen a cotton field till I moved here.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, but I think for me, one of the hard things, unlike 9-year-old, was I knew the history associated with the South, and it was. I think this is just a personal. I saw the cotton field, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool." Like,
it almost feels racist to see a cotton field.
Yes, that's how I felt. I mean, it was cool because I had never seen cotton and the way it grows, and that was the first. The immediate second thing was
that poor cotton. Just is considered almost it's. Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
It was like it's not. It's.
I had to think for a second before I let my kids go out and pick cotton.
Yeah. Right.
Because I'm like, I had two Latinos, they're darker skin. I'm like, and cars were behind us, and like, it's just super cool. And for a minute, I was like, is this okay? Right. And I was like, it was, yeah. And I thought, this is ridiculous. And
but that's good. Like, right? That's how things change.
Yeah.
That's super good.
Yeah.
See, I love the way we send nuggets of morality
in
our show.